mountains I just videoed, those, they are badass. I mean, they just rise right up out of the valley floor here. I'm 80 miles south of Kalispell, and I mean, those things, they just jut right up out of the valley floor, and they go up a ways. It's amazing how those things just rise up like that, and they're so high. I guess that's all these mountains in here are part of the tectonic action of the continental plates between the continental U.S. and the Pacific Ocean colliding and causing all this lifting action. But those are badass. Those are the badassest mountains I've seen on this trip. I'm going to point this thing out the side window and see if I can get them some more for you here. And that range just goes on for a long time. You can see how far out it goes. I am at the Outback campground, and I'm just a few miles south of Big Fork, Montana, which is at the north end of it's Flathead Lake. Yesterday when I was driving around the lake, I thought maybe it was called Glacier Lake. It's actually called Flathead Lake. I think Glacier Lake sounds a lot better, and it's more fitting given that I'm probably only 50 miles or so from Glacier National Park. So, you know, this campground's, they got some long terms and they got some overnights and stuff like that. It's a private campground, and it's okay where I'm at. I'm way back at the back. In fact, I'm probably on the furthest out campsite they've got, and I'm a little secluded back here, so it's pretty nice. It's dry camping. I don't have any electricity or anything, so I got my solar panels deployed. You can see them there, soaking up some sun energy. I'm gonna have to turn the fans on in a little bit. It's gonna get kind of warm in there. I'm exposed to the sun right now, but then this afternoon that'll change. I'll be in the shade, but right now it's warm enough. But I mean, it got down into the mid 50s last night, so the camper's still pretty cool inside. I think it's still in the 60s, but that'll change pretty quickly here. It's a beautiful day, nice and sunny, just surrounded by woods. This is supposedly bear country, but of course I haven't seen any yet. I doubt there are too many right around in here. It's fairly populated, but and they've got some garbage cans, just regular garbage cans setting out a little up the ways. They're not bear proof or anything, so they must not be having too much of a problem with bears, or they'd do something about that, I'm sure. So, but you know, I'm not going to leave the dog's food out or anything like that. I'm going to keep all that stuff inside and just take some general precautions when you're in country with a lot of large predators and stuff. So yeah, not bad. I was kind of hoping to find another campsite in a regular campground at one of the state parks, but they're all full. I don't know, it must be high season here or something. Of course, I'm right on this big beautiful lake, so and summers are pretty short up here, so I imagine people get out and do everything they can to be out and enjoying nice weather while it's here. So I guess I really shouldn't be surprised that everything's full, but I'm going to stay here again tonight. I was planning on just staying last night and then moving on, but I can't really find anything close, so I'm just going to stay here again tonight and then take the time to scout out the area. There's supposedly some nice campgrounds north of here around Hungry Horse, which is very close to Glacier National Park, so I'm going to try to get up a little further north and closer to the park over the next day or so, and then go into the park and stay. They've got campgrounds in the park, but a lot of them are, anything that's reservable is reserved, and a lot of the first come first served are taken. So we'll see how it goes. After I got set up here last night, I went to a little local brewery just a mile down the road, and got to talking to a bunch of locals, and of course, man, they were just telling me all the things that I should see and do in Glacier while I'm here, and it was just overwhelming. I mean, each one of them had a little different idea on what was the coolest thing, and my head was swimming by the end of the session there. I took a few notes. Most of them agreed that mini glacier must be there are many glaciers in the park apparently, and mini glacier is kind of a must-see for first-timers, and there were just a lot of other things that they talked about. So I took a few notes. I'll go back and look at those and see what I can find up around those areas and stuff. So, and apparently you can just drive, if I can find a campsite somewhere where I can stay for several days, I can actually just leave the camper at the campsite and drive through the park and check out all the different things. And there's some trails that you can take your pets on and stuff like that. So I'm not going to try to see everything I can see up there. That would just probably wear me out, and a lot of that stuff you can't do with dogs and so forth. So I'll just catch a little dab of it this time and whet my appetite, and I'm sure make me want to come back and get up this way again and check it out. They were also saying that if you cross the Canadian border north of Glacier National Park, that whole mountain range and glacial activity continues up into Canada, of course, and the glaciers are probably more intact up there because it tends to stay a little colder, and they say that's really beautiful. The glaciers up there have that turquoise look from the ice and stuff, and they've recommended that too. I don't know that I'll do that this time. I thought about, well, maybe I'll just cross over into Canada here and start heading west over to Vancouver, and I am going to look into that, but it seemed like a week or two ago when I was doing some of my planning. I looked at that, and the highway is not very direct. I'd have to go quite a ways out of my way to get from north of Glacier National Park here in Montana to Vancouver over on the coast. The highways, I understand the highways in Canada are in very good shape. They're very nice, so you know, it probably would be a very pretty drive. I'm just going to have to see how far out of the way that would take me and balance that with the time I have to get out there and everything else. So, but it's a nice thought, particularly if it's cooler. I think the temperature is supposed to be pretty reasonable here. I need to look again and see. I think they're supposed to be in the 80s, and I can handle that. So, but it's really a blue sky. I'm going to kind of pan around here so you can see some of what I'm living with here. Very nice. A lot of pine trees back in here. It's really pretty quiet right now. There were some campers in some of the sites that are closer to me yesterday. They've all moved on. Got a lot of I don't know if they're bees or ground hornets or what, but there's a ton of them. I heard something just hit me on the shoulder. I wanted to make sure I didn't have one of those getting a little too cozy with me. So anyway, I'm hanging around here for today. I'll probably actually go back to that little brewery. They had some really good beer, man. I had a great IPA, and they had a session beer that I want to try, but they make them quit serving at 8 o'clock. The breweries, I mean, it's not, I guess it's different from a tavern or whatever. The breweries have to stop serving. It's my phone going off. Hold on. Apparently the breweries have to stop serving at 8 o'clock p.m., which is asinine, but it's the way they do it around here. So I only got to have the one beer yesterday, and I'm going to go back and try that session beer. Or it's not a session beer, it's a saison. I said session, it's a saison. It's going to be kind of a Hoegaarnish type. It's a kind of a Belgian style wit beer with coriander and lemon or orange or something like that. So it'll be kind of a Hoegaarden type of a beer, but should be pretty good. Their IPA was very good. And you know, had some lunch there or something too. And then tonight I got a couple of ribeyes. Well, I was at the store yesterday, so I'm gonna grill out a ribeye and fix that other roasting ear I got of corn, and just chill out for the evening. I think maybe I'll get some of this video edited down, and I don't think I'll be able to upload it from here. I've got a decent network cellular connection here, but it's not so good that I can upload several gig worth of data. So, and the little town, Big Fork it's called, but it's small, is just a few miles up the road, and they have no signal. I mean, it's worse up there. It's like 3G and 1X up there. At least I'm on the LTE network here, so I don't know when I'm going to get this stuff uploaded. I just don't know. I got to get close to a big town and be able to stop and, you know, stay and hit a Starbucks or something like that that's got good Wi-Fi, and do some of that. And I haven't found that. I haven't had the time to do that. So all right, I'm gonna go get in some shade, cool off, and it's only 5 after 11 here, so would it be wrong to have a beer? It's after 12 Central Time. That's where I'm from. I'll think about that. See ya.